The balloons swayed in the afternoon breeze, their ribbons catching the sunlight that filtered through the backyard oak trees. 72 candles waited on a 3-tier cake. My daughter had insisted on 1 candle for each year because you deserve to be celebrated, Mom. The folding tables were arranged in neat rows, covered with plastic tablecloths printed with gold confetti. My neighbors, my bridge club, cousins I hadn't seen in years, they all stood in clusters, holding paper plates and plastic champagne flutes. Someone had hung a banner across the patio. "Happy birthday, Margaret." I should have been happy. I should have felt loved. Instead, I felt something else. Something I couldn't name yet. My daughter Claire moved through the crowd with the ease of someone who knew exactly what she was doing. Her husband Derek followed a half-step behind, his phone in his hand, filming everything. "For memories, Margaret," he'd said earlier, giving me that smile that never quite reached his eyes. Claire had planned everything, the guest list, the menu, even the dress I was wearing. "Let me handle it, Mom," she'd said 3 weeks ago. "You just show up and enjoy yourself." I'd taught high school English for 37 years. I'd read thousands of essays, graded tens of thousands of papers, and I'd learned to recognize when something was off in the narrative, when the pieces didn't quite fit, when a student was telling me what they thought I wanted to hear instead of the truth. This party had that same feeling. Claire tapped a fork against her glass, and the conversation died down. Everyone turned toward the patio where she stood, Derek still filming beside her. "Thank you all for coming," she said, her voice carrying across the yard. "It means so much to Mom to have everyone here. She's always been the one taking care of others, her students, her friends, our family. Today is about celebrating her." Applause rippled through the crowd. I smiled and waved from my seat at the head table. My sister Linda caught my eye from across the yard and mouthed, "Beautiful party." I nodded, but that unease in my stomach tightened. "Mom has always been a woman of words," Claire continued, "so we thought it would be fitting if she shared a few words with all of you." "Mom?" She gestured toward me, and Derek's camera swung to follow. I stood, my knees stiff from sitting. Someone handed me a piece of paper. Where had that come from? I didn't remember writing a speech. Claire must have prepared something. That was like her, always thinking ahead, always organizing. She'd been the one to take me to all my doctor's appointments after my hip surgery last year. She'd been the one to help me sort through the mail when the bills got confusing. She'd been the one to suggest I sign some papers to make things easier when I was still groggy from the anesthesia. I unfolded the paper. The words were typed neatly, double-spaced. I began to read. "Thank you all for being here today. This is harder than I expected." My voice caught. Something about the words felt wrong. I kept reading. "As many of you know, I've been struggling lately. The house has become too much for me to manage. I forget things, appointments, where I put my keys, sometimes even what day it is." I looked up. Claire was nodding encouragingly. Derek's camera was a black eye pointed at me. I didn't remember writing any of this. I'd forgotten one appointment last month, the dentist, because Claire had written it down wrong in my calendar. And yes, I'd misplaced my keys twice. But who doesn't? After much thought and discussion with Claire and Derek, I've made a decision about my future. My hands started to shake. I knew what was coming before I read the next line, the same way you know a storm is coming when the air pressure changes. I've decided to move into Willow Creek Senior Living. It's a beautiful facility where I'll be safe and well cared for. I know this is the right choice, and I hope you'll all respect my wishes and support me in this transition. I'm grateful to Claire and Derek for helping me see what's best for me. This house will be sold, and the proceeds will go toward my care. Thank you for understanding. Thank you for everything. The paper slipped from my fingers and drifted to the ground. The applause started polite, supportive applause from people who thought they were honoring my brave decision. But I hadn't made any decision. I'd never been to Willow Creek Senior Living. I'd never discussed selling my house, the house Tom and I had bought 43 years ago, where I'd raised Claire and her brother Ben, where every room held memories that no senior living facility could ever replace. "Mom?" Claire's voice was bright, cheerful. "Are you okay?" I stared at her. Really looked at her for the first time in months, maybe years. The way she stood with her weight shifted forward, ready to move. The way Derek had positioned himself between me and the gate. The way my sister Linda's smile had frozen on her face, confusion creeping into her eyes. "I didn't write that," I said. My voice sounded distant, like it was coming from underwater. "Of course you did, Mom." Claire laughed, that light, dismissive laugh she used when she thought I was being silly. "Remember? We worked on it together last week." "No," the word came out stronger than I expected. "We didn't." The crowd shifted uncomfortably. Someone coughed. Derek kept filming. "Mom, you're confused." Claire moved closer, her hand reaching for my arm. "This is why we're doing this. You're forgetting things. It's okay, that's why I'm here to help." "I'm not confused." I stepped back, away from her reaching hand. "I never agreed to move into any facility. I never agreed to sell my house." Claire's expression flickered just for a second, but I saw it. The mask slipped. Annoyance, calculation. Then it was back in place, the concerned daughter worried about her declining mother. "Derek, stop recording," I said. He didn't. Derek. My teacher voice, the one that had silenced rowdy classrooms for nearly 4 decades. "Turn off the camera." "Claire said to document everything," he said, his finger still on the record button. "For your own protection." "My protection? Or yours?" Linda pushed through the crowd. "Margaret, what's going on?" I looked at my sister, the only person here who'd known me since before I was anyone's mother, anyone's teacher, anyone's responsibility. "I don't know," I said honestly, "but something is very wrong." "Mom, please." Claire's voice had an edge now. "You're making a scene. You're upsetting everyone." "Good." I picked up the paper from where it had fallen. "Because someone needs to be upset about this. I want everyone here to know I did not write these words. I did not decide to sell my house, and I am not moving into Willow Creek Senior Living or anywhere else." Claire's jaw tightened. "We have paperwork that says otherwise." The words hung in the air like smoke. "What paperwork?" "The power of attorney you signed. The healthcare directive. All the documents we had the lawyer draw up when you had your hip surgery." "My hip surgery?" March 15th. I'd been so nervous about going under anesthesia, I'd never had surgery before. Claire had been there, holding papers, telling me to sign, saying it was just standard procedure, just in case something went wrong. I'd been terrified about the just in case, so I'd signed. I'd trusted her. "That was for medical decisions," I said slowly, "in case I couldn't make them during surgery. It was for all decisions, Mom. You gave me full power of attorney, which means I can make decisions about your care, your finances, your living arrangements, all of it. We've already filed the paperwork with the county. We've already listed the house with a realtor. The proceeds will go into a trust that Derek and I will manage for your care." Around us, the party guests had gone silent. No one was eating cake anymore. My neighbor, Mrs. Patterson, had her hand over her mouth. Linda's face had gone pale. "You had no right," I said. "I have every right. Legally, I'm responsible for you now. And Mom, we all know you can't manage on your own anymore. You forget things. You get confused. Last month you called me 3 times asking where Ben was. He's been in Seattle for 20 years. I had called her about Ben. Once, because I'd found an old photo album and wanted to share a memory. She was twisting it, reshaping the truth into something unrecognizable. "I want to see a lawyer." "You can't afford a lawyer, Mom. Your accounts are frozen until we sort out the conservatorship." The word landed like a physical blow. "Conservatorship?" "We filed 2 weeks ago. The hearing is next Friday. The judge will review your case and officially grant us conservatorship. It's for your own good. You need someone to protect you from making poor decisions with your money." My money, the pension I'd earned, the savings Tom and I had scraped together, the life insurance policy I'd kept current for 30 years. "This is elder abuse," Linda said, her voice shaking. "Claire, this is illegal. This is caregiving," Claire shot back. You don't see her every day like I do. You don't see the decline. Someone has to make the hard decisions. Let me make my own decisions. I could barely hear my own voice over the rushing in my ears. You can't. That's the whole point. Derek was still filming. The camera caught everything, my shock, my tears, the way my hands trembled. Evidence, I realized. They were building a case. Every forgotten appointment, every misplaced item, every moment of normal aging repackaged as proof of incompetence. I want to leave, I said. Your car is gone, Mom. We sold it last week. You weren't using it anymore. I drove it 3 days ago. No, you didn't. You haven't driven in months. See? This is what I'm talking about. I had driven it. I'd gone to the grocery store, to the library, to visit Mrs. Patterson when she broke her wrist. But Claire was standing there so confidently, so certain, that I felt reality starting to bend. Linda, take me home. Mom, you are home. Claire spread her arms to indicate the backyard, the house behind us. This party is at your house. Where else would you go? Away from you. The words came out before I could stop them. Claire's face went blank, then hardened. Derek, call Dr. Morrison. Tell him Mom is having an episode. He'll know what to do. Don't you dare. I turned to the crowd of guests. These people who'd come to celebrate with me, who'd known me for years, decades. Someone help me, please. This isn't right. They looked away, every single one of them. Some with pity, some with embarrassment, all of them uncomfortable. No one wanted to get involved in a family matter. No one wanted to believe that the sweet daughter throwing her mother a birthday party was actually stealing everything from her. Except Linda. She grabbed my arm. I'm taking her to my house. That's kidnapping, Claire said calmly. My mother is under my legal guardianship. If you remove her from this property, I'll call the police. Then call them. Let them sort this out. For a moment, I thought Claire would back down. Then Derek put his hand on her shoulder and whispered something. She nodded. Fine. Call them. She pulled out her phone. I'll report an elderly woman in crisis being removed from her home by a family member who doesn't have legal authority. I'll show them the paperwork. I'll show them the video of Mom's confusion today, and they'll take her to the hospital for a psychiatric evaluation. Linda's grip on my arm tightened, but I felt her hesitation. She had 3 kids, a husband, a whole life. She couldn't fight this legal battle for me. None of them could. It's okay, Linda, I said quietly. Let me go. Margaret, it's okay. She released my arm slowly, and I felt something break inside me. Not my spirit, not yet, but the illusion that I was safe. That family meant protection instead of danger. Everyone should go home now, Claire announced to the crowd. Mom needs to rest. Thank you for coming. They left in a slow exodus, taking their awkward sympathy with them. Mrs. Patterson squeezed my hand as she passed. If you need anything, she whispered. But we both knew she wouldn't get involved. People never do when it's complicated, when it's family, when they might be wrong about who the victim is. When the last guest had gone, Claire turned to me. You're going to make this harder than it needs to be, aren't you? I'm going to fight you. With what money? What lawyer? What proof? She smiled, and I finally saw her clearly not my daughter, but a stranger who looked like her. You can't win, Mom. The system isn't built for people like you. It's built to protect people like me, the caregiver, the responsible adult child who just wants to make sure her aging mother is taken care of. I don't need to be taken care of. The state of California disagrees. So does your doctor, who documented your memory issues at your last 3 appointments. So does the social worker who'll testify about your inability to manage your medications. So does the financial advisor who'll explain how you've been making risky decisions with your investments. I haven't seen a social worker. I manage my medications fine. I haven't touched my investments in years. We know. That's our evidence. You've been seeing Dr. Morrison's colleague. Your pillbox has been wrong for months. I've been fixing it. And someone tried to withdraw $50,000 from your retirement account last month. Lucky I caught it in time. The room tilted. Every word was true and completely false at the same time. I had seen another doctor. Dr. Morrison was on vacation, so I saw his partner. My pillbox had been wrong because Claire had been helping me organize it. And yes, someone had tried to withdraw from my account. I'd gotten a fraud alert and called the bank to stop it. She'd created a narrative out of shadows and half-truths, and it was airtight. Why? The word came out broken. Because you're sitting on $750,000 in home equity, another $400,000 in retirement accounts, and a life insurance policy worth $250,000. Because Derek and I have bills, and you're going to die eventually anyway. Why should we wait until we're too old to enjoy it? At least she was honest. Finally, I gave you everything, I said. I put you through college. I helped with the down payment on your first house. I gave you everything I had. And it wasn't enough. It's never enough with your generation. You got cheap college, affordable housing, pensions, and Social Security. We're drowning. And you're hoarding resources you're too old to even use anymore. This isn't cruel, Mom. This is just redistributing assets to where they're needed. I looked at Derek, who nodded agreement. This wasn't Claire's idea alone. This was both of them, a partnership in theft dressed up as caregiving. I'm not going to Willow Creek, I said. You don't have a choice. If you refuse, we'll have you declared mentally incompetent and place you involuntarily. Either way, you're going. She left then, Derek following. I heard them in the front yard, talking to someone, loading things into a car, my things, probably, getting a head start on clearing out the house. I sat on my own couch in my own living room and tried to understand how I'd ended up here. I'd done everything right. I'd worked hard, saved money, been a good mother. I'd trusted the wrong person with the wrong document at the wrong time. And now I was trapped. The phone rang the landline, because I still had one, because I'm old enough to not trust that cell phones will work in an emergency. I answered without thinking. Mrs. Cooper? This is Sandra from Willow Creek Senior Living. I'm calling to confirm your move-in date for next Friday, May 10th. We'll have the room ready for you. I'm not moving in. A pause. Your daughter said you might be resistant. She explained about the memory issues. I want you to know we're very experienced with transitions like this. We'll make it as easy as possible. I don't have memory issues. Of course. I'll make a note that you prefer not to discuss it. We'll see you Friday. She hung up before I could argue further. I sat there as the afternoon light faded, as the balloons lost their helium and drooped, as reality rearranged itself into something unrecognizable. I'd spent my whole life teaching young people to think critically, to question narratives, to spot logical fallacies. Now, I was living inside one, and no one would listen to my critique. The doorbell rang. I didn't answer. It rang again. Then knocking. Margaret, I know you're in there. It's Linda. I opened the door. My sister stood on the porch, her face blotchy from crying. I called Ben, she said. He's flying in tomorrow. Claire has power of attorney. We'll fight it. With what? You heard her. The judge's hearing is next Friday. That's 6 days. We need lawyers, evidence, time. We don't have any of those things. Then we'll figure it out. Linda pushed past me into the house. Where's your paperwork? The stuff you signed? I don't know. Claire handles all that now. Linda's expression told me everything. We both knew I'd already lost. The law wasn't on my side. The medical establishment wasn't on my side. Even my own failing memory, which wasn't failing, not really, just aging normally, would be used against me. I need to record this, I said suddenly. I need to document what she said, what she admitted. They'll say you're confused, that you misunderstood. Maybe, but I have to try. I found my phone, the iPhone Claire had bought me, the one I'd never quite figured out. Linda showed me how to use the voice memo app. I recorded everything I could remember from the party, from Claire's admission, from the past year of small erosions. My voice shook. I stopped and started. It wasn't eloquent, but it was true. When I finished, Linda uploaded it to a cloud account I didn't know I had. Just in case, she said. just in case they try to delete it. We sat together in the gathering darkness, two aging women trying to figure out how to fight a system designed to silence them. The balloons swayed in the breeze. The cake sat untouched on the counter, 72 candles waiting to be lit. I didn't make a wish. What would I even wish for? To go back in time and not sign those papers? To have seen this coming? To have protected myself better? No. If I'd learned anything in 72 years, it was that wishing changed nothing. Action did, and I still had 6 days before they could lock me away. 6 days to become ungovernable.